Come 26 January 2023, India will lay down the framework of correcting and rewriting our history books. This is a leap forward for a nation that has studied and ingrained one selective version of history so far and blacked out the true depth and diversity of our nation's history. Let's debate.
History textbooks are all set for a change.
बसंत पंचमी तक आयु 3, 4, 5 के लिए पहली बार बाल वाटिका की योजना सरकार ने सरकारी स्कूलों के लिए योजना लाई। उसमें बहुत इतिहास से बताने की आवश्यकता नहीं था। मैं चुनौती जब कहता हूँ उसके आगे लेकिन इतिहास की आवश्यकता है।
The Prime Minister has been calling for the depth of Indian history to be told.
आज की पीढ़ी के बच्चों को पूछेंगे तो उनमें से ज्यादातर को उनके बारे में पता ही नहीं है। पहले हमारे यहाँ क्यों वीर बाल दिवस का विचार तक नहीं आया, लेकिन ये जरूर कहूंगा कि अब नया भारत दशकों पहले हुई एक पुरानी भूल को सुधार रहा है।
Now, a national curriculum framework is set to be launched by January 26th. The national curriculum framework is to be launched by January 26th. A survey for NCF has already been taken by about 1.3 million stakeholders. Textbooks will be changed accordingly. Already topics on Savarkar and Sahibzades have been introduced. The new books will put the focus on topics not discussed so far. The Saraswati River Valley civilization, leaders like Hanuman Prasad Poddar, and conventionally blacked out dark ages of Indian history. For far too long, selective history was glorified.
People have contributed by their sacrifice, by their sense of patriotism. Therefore, everyone should get his due, and such due has not been given by the Marxist and Nehruvian historians. We are trying to bring out the hidden facts, suppressed facts before the students of history, so that Indian history must be in a larger horizon and giving a holistic picture.
But the opposition cannot see beyond politics.
They want to prove, they want to establish that this is a single country with a single language and everything. It is not India. India was never a single country. Until after 1947, India was united by the then Home Minister. So what they are going to, let them bring out the corrected version and see how incorrect it is.
But why shouldn't history be corrected? Let's debate.
Professor Geeta Bhatt, what is your expectation? We don't know the full details yet, but we know that something significant is happening, and starting Vasant Panchami, starting Republic Day, January 26, 2023, we will have a corrected version of Indian history which will be available to students, and then the process begins to get rolled out. I put that question to Tuhin first. What should we expect? We don't know the full details yet. We're very keen to know. Can't hear you, Tuhin. Yeah.
Yeah, Arnab, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can now. Yeah.
There is a saying that those who don't learn from history are doomed to repeat it, and that is all the more evident when your history is replete with selective omissions, like the way our history is. When it is skewed towards a certain colonial mindset, it promotes a sense of subservience in future generations, and that is why it is important to rewrite history. Now, apart from being a political spokesperson, you would know that even as an author, I have been working on a trilogy on tribal freedom fighters. And in fact, the first freedom movement in India dates back to 1780. When these facts are brought to the fore, the Congress would no longer be able to claim freedom over the independence movement and claim and question others about their contribution. Similarly, when it comes to the era of Aurangzeb, I can tell you that the era between 1658 and 1707 was the darkest phase in India's history, And in fact, the maximum number of conversions in post-conversions in Kashmir happened during that period. Of course, I mean, there was a conversions which happened because of the influence of Sufi faith. But today, instead of condemning Aurangzeb, we continue to glorify him. We all, I mean, everybody in this country knows who killed Mahatma Gandhi. But why don't we know who killed Guru Gobind Singh and his son? It was, it was Aurangzeb. So I think that is why it is important to think the way history is taught in school.
Yeah, I think it's necessary. And I do believe that this glorification of the Mughals particularly has to be corrected. Dr. Rama Subramaniam, please come into the debate with Prakash Swami. First of all, I would like to congratulate all of us because the new history is soon going to be available to everyone. And I do hope, Dr. Rama Subramaniam, that the history of Aurangzeb should become public. You know, what he did. Our children should know how he publicly beheaded Guru Tegh Bahadur for not accepting his authority. We have to make things like this public, and it's public, but it should be known, right? It should be known the significance of Somnath Temple, for example, and how people like Muhammad Ghazni tried to destroy it should be taught to everyone. Don't you think so? And finally, children will learn. The true history will come out. Rama Subramaniam, we should all celebrate. What do you think, Prakash Swami? It's actually happening. It's been delayed too long anyway.
Can I speak?
Yeah, go on. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, there is no two opinion about it. That should be a proper history to be written. There is no two opinion about it. But at the same time, you are talking about the Guru Gobind Singh. Yes, that is to be definitely written. What about Tamil Nadu? We have n number of great people like Veerapandya Kattaboman and his brother, and even about Bharatiyar, nothing is being written. What about Kappaloti Tamilan? Vavu Chidambaram Pillai, he was a freedom fighter. He lost everything. He was a lawyer, a very, very powerful lawyer.
I agree with you. No, I'm totally for representing various parts of our country equally. In fact, you and I are on the same page regarding that. Prakash Swami, these are apprehensions. I, for example, think that the true contribution of national heroes like Veer Savarkar should be put for all our children to know about. Unfortunately, in our country, school children have been told about Marco Polo. But there has been an omission of Veer Savarkar, and I don't understand why. So what are you expecting out of this, Prakash Swami?
Nowhere in the world the students will be taught who conquered their country. If you go to England, the school will never talk about Julius Caesar. If you go to China, there is no mention about Genghis Khan or Mongolians capturing China. But in India, we celebrate Qutub Minar, which is a victory sign of a Mughal against India. The biggest joke is there is a king called Papa Rawal who defeated the Qasim in 1715 AD. It's mentioned only in the Amar Chitrakada, not in the CBSE or IEC textbooks. There's a king called Rajendra Chola from Tamil Nadu who went up to Malaysia and Japan, conquered the entire Far East, but no mention. Our historians are very happy in letting the children know who conquered us, how Mughals invaded, how British invaded,
Rama Subramaniam responding.
how Latins invaded. This is the issue.
Rama Subramaniam.
Yes, with the due respect to my dear friend Prakash, yes, you whatever you say is right. But at the same time, who conquered you? You can't rewrite the history by suppressing the fact and suggesting the falsehood. That is not acceptable at all.
You can write about the victory of Rajendra Chola. Victory of Rajaraja Chola.
My dear friend, Prakash, I mentioned that our yes, Rajendra Cholan, Rajaraja Cholan, everybody should be included. But at the same time, who conquered India? But that is also a history. You cannot suppress that fact. You cannot suppress the fact.
Professor
Why
Geeta
do you
Bhatt.
want to tell the students about losing the country?
No,
What about Papa?
Professor Geeta Bhatt, limited time. Professor Geeta Bhatt.
What is Silpatikaram? And post-independence, unfortunately, there was so much of colonial hangover that our historians, academicians, they somehow could not acknowledge and recognize the rich legacy of our culture and of our history. So much so that the kind of books, books which were being written for the schools. Till very recently, these books, for example, the class 12th book of NCERT, which only through an RTI one came to know, which had a chapter that said that when war happened in the country, there are examples when the temples were destroyed, then the kings or the or the Mughal kings, they used to rebuild them. For example, during the reign of Shah Jahan and Aurangzeb. And when an RTI was filed to know that what is the evidence which is available based on which these sentences have been put up in that book.
Lokesh.
The RTI response could not, it said that there
First
are no
of all,
such records.
let me tell you, there's a huge difference between history and literature.
Of history,
When you talk
which
about
has been
historiography,
in the school books,
history deals with the interpretation of facts.
To the
So nowhere facts are
there are
manipulated.
corrections
Please
which are
get your
required.
facts right.
And this
It
needs
is
to be
only
taken
with
very
respect to
seriously. Why is it
historiography,
that
what form
Indian
of
Council of
history
Historical
narration is being
Research
taught in the school?
till now
The
never
present
ever thought
government
of
wants to
writing
only
about
clarify
about the Indian
interpretation of
democracy?
history, which was
And
once very
Prime
popular.
Minister so
What about
rightly
KP
said
Jaiswal?
in the
KP
United
Jaiswal,
Nations that
AS
we are not
Antegar, they had
so good as
already come up with
democracy.
that.
We are the
Obviously,
fundamental
I want to
There
give.
was already a school of history that was
I think now it's a done deal. You know what? You may do anything, but
Arnab, please
so
allow
much
me to
injustice,
complete.
Tuhin. So much injustice. I just hope, Tuhin, that because there is a tsunami of expectations across the country. Tuhin, I hope this is not going to be a superficial job.
Not at all. Arnab,
I hope this is not going to be just, changing a few things. It's not going to be tinkering, I hope.
Not at all, not at all. Look at the irony of the whole situation. While for the first 20 years after independence, one could understand that the colonial mindset had spilled over, the right time to rewrite our history was actually 50 years ago in the mid-70s. But what did the Congress actually do then? It repackaged Tipu Sultan into a secular icon. Tipu Sultan is well known for the last 200 years.
Do you know that history writing has begun prior to independence? It was only 1970s and 80s received the Philip. It was one of the greatest time. It was the golden era of Indian history writing. Even right now, when you are picking up any textbook, it gives you all the perspective. Right from the Cambridge School of History, Nationalist School of History, subaltern perspective, Marxist perspective, nationalist perspective, all the writers, all the information is very much available on the textbook. The people are talking about the South Indian history, they are talking about Srimadhi
assimilate the best of ideals.
Well, viewers, as I said, I hope it's not going to be a tinkering job. I hope it's a substantial change, because this is something that that a lot of people across the country have put their hearts on. Let's junk the biased history. Let's rewrite and bring forth a new history. And I shall see you at 9 o'clock tomorrow without fail. Good night, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.